Yeah, sure. So we could just start with Sydney, but this is technically for both of you guys. Just what was it like when you first found out the news that this
Muted.
canceled?
Well, I mean, it definitely took my breath away. I just sat and had a range of emotions, just all sorts of different, confused and overwhelmed and upset because, having the 2020 season just abruptly end like it did, it's a tough pill to swallow for, players and for coaches. But once I came home and was with my family after the season was officially canceled, I just kind of sat back and had a different perspective on things because with what's going on in the world and our country, it's tough. It's people's lives and it's people's health that we're talking about. And it really just put things into perspective with the significance and the big picture of what's going on. So it was extremely hard. And, you hate to see it, but with what's going on, it just gives you a little bit different perspective.
Yeah, and
yes. I would agree with that. I'll just say something real quick. I think most of all I was just shocked because I guess I just didn't ever imagine it to happen as fast as it did. Because it's like, we found out that we were going to play without fans. And then we found out the season was going to be suspended for a while. And then all of a sudden, season was just done. And honestly, I didn't have time to even put into perspective the first thing that happened. And then I was shocked that the next thing happened. And then it was just like it just kept getting worse and worse. And to be honest, I don't know if it's still at this point, if it, has really sank in that this year is just over and all these pretty days we're having outside. I'm like, wow, it feels so weird that I'm home in March and April, with all these pretty days because I should be on the softball field. But at the same time, like Sid said, it's now with everything that's happened and as fast as everything has spread, I think, we're in a safer place here and understanding the bigger picture with all of this, I guess, is the most important thing. It's still as shocking as it is that season just came to an end like it did is crazy. But putting it into perspective, I'm happy to be home, happy to be safe, and free of everything that's going on.
And then Sydney, you had put out a Twitter video talking about, how big of a deal this decision was from the NCAA. What's your thoughts on their decision to give everyone a year back?
I think it is incredible. There was a lot of speculation going on through social media prior to the NCAA's decision. And, just sitting and reading all of this stuff, you want eligibility as a senior, but you want eligibility for all Division I athletes. As a senior, you don't want to see your season end the way that it did, but you also don't want to see your teammates and other athletes only have 3 years of eligibility. So I think the decision that they made to grant everyone the extra year of eligibility is huge. It's huge for everyone that plays sports. And just getting that year back, I would have been personally devastated if the decision would have, been to not give anyone eligibility. So I think it's great. I think they made the right decision.
And then Braxton, kind of same question to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the right decision. I don't think anyone wants to see, especially seniors, see their season come to an end. But I think it's big for everyone because, you only get four years to try to break records. You only get 4 years to try to win a championship. And I think seeing that cut down to 3 for freshmen or for anyone in that matter is just really disappointing. And so I think it was 100% the right decision for seniors, especially because nobody wants to see their season end like that. You want to be able to end season on your own terms with your team the way that you want it to be, and actually have some say in that. But I think that they made the right decision, and I think everyone is really happy with the decision that they made.
All right. Thanks, Sydney and Braxton.
Thank you.
Chip?
Hey, Hey, Sydney, this is Chip Souza with the Democrat Gazette. So being a senior, will you return next year?
I think the most important thing was first to have the NCAA, say yes to giving all Division I student athletes the extra year of eligibility, and I am so extremely elated that they did that. And from there, there's still a lot of logistics to be worked out, but I'm certain and am trustful that once Coach Steifel and Hunter Yurchek get the answers that we need, because there's still a lot of questions to be answered, but they're going to provide us with great information, and I'm really excited to see what transpires, once they do get that information.
Braxton, being a junior, I mean, how much of an impact, does this really have on you? I know you were planning on coming back probably, but now you effectively would have 2 years, I guess,
Right.
to play. Is that something that that at this point in time you think you would do?
To be honest, I have not put much thought into it because I'm trying to take it day by day. This next year would be my 5th year, and then that extra year of eligibility would be my 6th year. So, that's a decision that I don't have to make right now. That's a decision I'm just going to, kind of let come to me. I think if I made that decision right now, I'm just kind of trying to see too far into the future. I don't know how next year's going to go. I'm just trying to take it day by day and not get too ahead of myself. Just try to enjoy it while I can, after my 5th year. If I want to go ahead and extend my career into that 6th year, then I will most certainly do it. I'm just not, I don't know, I'm not going to make the decision yet. I'm already in grad school, so I'm just trying to, stick with my school and get through this 5th year. And then honestly, I'm just going to see where the decision takes me and see how I'm feeling.
Sydney, I think it was you, it might have been Braxton, I don't remember which one said this, being at home in March and April with it being 70 degrees outside, but what are you kind of doing to occupy your time? I mean, as an athlete, I know you can't just be, I know you're not just sitting in the house watching TV. What are you doing to occupy your time?
Well, I mean, Braxton and I have said it is terrible sitting at home during this time, because for as long as I can think back, I would be playing softball during this time. And, right now we're supposed to be putting on our uniforms, taking on Tulsa in a midweek game, and to not be out on the field and to not be competing with my team and against another team, it's heartbreaking. It's not fun to think about. But right now I am trying to stick with my routine and to better myself every single day. I do an at-home workout, a lot of running and speed work every single day. I am fortunate enough to have the equipment that I need at my home to stay on top of my, physical workouts, getting stronger and faster. And then in addition to that, I am still hitting every single day, playing catch with my dad, and really just going back to the fundamentals of softball. That's just extremely important to, fine tune things. And that's what I'm focusing on, and still doing a lot of homework. So I'm just still trying to hit it hard and grind for whenever, the next practice is to come in the future, so that I'm, well prepared and staying in great softball shape.
What about you, Braxton?
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing the same. Just trying to stay, I guess, in a routine. To be honest, it's weird that I'm home and not playing softball, and then I'm still in school. So it's like I'm trying to stay in a routine of getting up, doing some schoolwork. Just like I said, I'm working out every day, hitting every day, throwing every day, just trying to kind of stay in the swing of things. You don't want to get too relaxed, because next year will be here before you know it. And I think we just need to take this time to kind of relax and sit back. And like Sid said, get back to the fundamentals. Just kind of, I'm definitely enjoying time with my family, because this is time that I don't usually get to see my family a whole lot. I have younger sisters that I'm spending time with. And so I'm really taking advantage of that time and just kind of relaxing, enjoying being at home while I'm here. And just trying to stay in a routine, because like you said, I absolutely hate being inside with nothing to do. So while the weather's nice, I'm trying to get outside and just take advantage of this time, that we're given, that we don't usually get at this time of year.
Thank you.
And I want to add one more thing to what Braxton said. In addition to that, I too am
really enjoying this time with my family that, has been few and far between quality time. Sense of health at 8th grade because of softball and traveling and my parents working and everything. But another comment that I just want to make is as athletes, we've been wired for so long to, have these extremely busy schedules, from the weight room to class to practice to putting in extra work. So I'm not going to lie, the first week of being home, it was an adjustment. I was like, oh my gosh, like I am not used to this. So just like what Braxton said, it's been great to, still stay on the grind of things.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nate.
Braxton, first, since you had the red shirt when you transferred, just how important, just knowing you have that option, and you basically had 1 year where you couldn't play, and now this year you get it, abbreviated. Just for all red shirts in general, who people have done that, how important is this decision?
Yeah, it's very important. I think last year, actually, sitting out a year, it really, I don't know, it's very motivating, I guess, whenever you have to sit out a year and then, you're working and you come back, and then like to have this season just ripped away is like, oh my gosh, like I'm trying my best just to play softball with the Arkansas Razorbacks, and it like has not been meant to be, I guess, for the past 2 years. But yeah, I guess for anyone redshirting, it's so important to just stay within the game, stay within yourself, work on the things you need to work on, stay with it. Don't get too far away from it, because it's very easy, to kind of get distracted while you're not able to play and while you're away from the game, which last year it was a little bit different because I was always, with my teammates. I was always at the games, and now here at home it's a little bit different. But I think just staying motivated and trying to get better every day, stay with your game, stay with the fundamentals, and, just kind of keep in the back of your mind that next year will be here. And I'm so excited for next year. Thank goodness, no matter what, I have, 1 more year. Because had this been my senior year, like said Parr, that would be devastating. And so I'm very thankful that, I'm going to come back next year and I'm going to be able to put the uniform on and represent the state of Arkansas.
Yes, I guess how'd you happen to choose Missouri first, and then what prompted you to transfer to Arkansas?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
I guess when you're first coming out of high school, going to Missouri first, and then your decision to transfer just kind of went into both decisions.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Your decision to leave, to go to Missouri, and then your decision to transfer to Arkansas, kind of what went into both those.
Yeah, so I committed to Missouri when I was in 10th grade. And I took a visit there, and I absolutely loved everything about it. The visit was great. It was a weekend long. I loved the coaching staff. I loved just the city of Columbia. It just kind of felt like home. And I think when you're so young, that's kind of something that you cherish, is whenever you go to college, you want to feel at home because you're going away from your family. And so I really liked that aspect of it. And then the beginning of my sophomore year at Columbia, our head coach got fired. And, he was a big, big reason of why I went there. I learned so much from him, and I really just developed as a player, playing underneath the head coach at Missouri. And whenever he got fired, it just kind of everything kind of changed. And so after my sophomore year, I decided that I wanted to kind of open my options back up and see what was available. And as soon as Arkansas was on the radar, and I knew that that was a place that I could possibly go, I knew that I wanted to take a visit there, because, I just think it's very cool getting to represent your home state. Looking back, I think it would have been really, really cool if I could have started out here, but, it just wasn't meant to be, and it didn't work out. But to be able to finish my career here at Arkansas as a Razorback is pretty special. And then when I took that visit, I knew immediately this is where I want to go. It was a one-day thing. I kind of talked to my parents. They knew this is where I wanted to go. And after the visit, there were no questions. The coaching staff was great, and we kind of met in Coach Stoppel's office, and I just told them, I was like, this is where I want to be. I know this is where I want to be, and I'm just so grateful that I got the opportunity to be a Razorback.
Thanks. And Sydney, just as a senior, because we're talking not to the KCO pits and Kerstead yesterday, and they have draft opportunities. Is there any pro opportunities out there in women's softball? And as a senior, does that make it better, even more liable for you to come back? Since I would assume they're not as many. They're pretty limited.
I'm gonna be honest. Right now, with the way that the season has happened, I'm very up to date on what's happening with the Major League Baseball draft. With professional softball, I do not know where that stands as of now. I don't personally think that playing professionally was an option for me. As I graduated, I was going to enter into the work, world, but I'm not sure. I don't know what is transpiring with the women's professional softball league, and with everything going on with the Olympics as well, I think that plays a part into it.
Thanks.
Scotty, do you have anything?
Yeah, for both of you, I'll start with Braxton. I guess are girls on the team still staying in touch, and if so, how are y'all doing it? Is it Zoom, FaceTime, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we stay in touch pretty much every day. We have this thing that we do every day before practice where we say a quote. And we've kind of kept that going through our group me. We'll pass a quote to someone and they will video themselves telling the team the quote and why it's kind of relevant to our team. And then we also do daily gratitude. So Coach Chappell will pick 3 or 4 of us to kind of tell the team what we're thankful for that day. And so we'll video ourselves and send it in the group me. And it just kind of keeps us, keeps a positive attitude and not taking anything for granted and always remembering, what we're thankful for. And then we have a team Snapchat. So we're constantly keeping, each other updated on how our quarantine life is going and kind of what we're doing. And we're just a really fun loving group. So we definitely don't have any trouble staying in touch. And then we're going to have our first Zoom call this Friday. So that's kind of exciting because we'll get to see everybody's faces and talk and, keep everybody updated on how we're doing. And I think one of the most important things that we're doing right now is making sure we stay in touch. We don't want to get too distant in this weird time that we're in. And so the coaching staff's doing a really good job of keeping us connected with the group me and the videos that we're doing and all that. So it's been pretty cool to see.
I appreciate it.
Let's see. Dudley, do you have anything?
Yes, Sydney, I know that you had the opportunity to be an intern for the Major League Baseball Network, I guess, in New York Mets. Give me some idea on how that went for you and, maybe some of your best memories of that.
Oh, they both were amazing opportunities. At the Major League Baseball Network, I was very fortunate to work within the news department. So all of the on-air talent like Harold Reynolds, Big Poppy made some appearances, Lauren Shahadi, Kelly Nash. I got to work alongside them and got to really understand what all goes into a network and how they work and do their jobs and are on air. And my most favorite memories were getting to stay up late and work the night shift with Kelly Nash. And there's a show that she does at 1 a.m. in the morning, or she did often. And after the show was over, she would, mic me up and I'd get the hair and makeup and the glam and would get to go in the studio with her and run through the script that she did. And she would give me pointers on how to improve and how to speak on camera. So that memory is just something that I cherish forever and think about all the time. And then with the Mets, I got to work in their community engagement and player development department. And just getting to interact with the players and everyone that works behind the scenes, getting to see how, the small people that work behind the scenes, how, much of an impact that they have actually on the game and the entertainment for the fans. So getting to do that and just engage in the community, that's one thing that I absolutely love to flourish in is community engagement and giving back to those. So that was just a really great experience. And currently, not now since I've been home, but I also got to intern for a little bit this spring with Bo Mattingly on his podcast, The Hog Pod, and I really enjoyed that. Something new and different, learning how, a podcast is created. And so with those 3 internships, I fully feel like I have set myself up for success, when my softball career is over.
What is it? What kind of field do you want to get in? Have you thought about that much? And also, having been in New York when it was hustle and bustle, can you imagine the way it is right now with the stay-at-home thing up there?
Yes. So I am getting my degree in journalism. I aspire to be a sideline reporter. I would love to do in-color commentating for softball. I kind of want to stick more on the baseball, softball side since the sport is, second nature to me. But yeah, living in New York for 2 summers, my freshman year after playing, I didn't know what I was going to get. I was still pretty young, and moving to a big city like that, I'm from Arkansas. That's not what I'm accustomed to. And then getting there, it is an incredible place. There is just so much opportunity and so many things to do and to adventure. I absolutely loved living there for 2 summers. There's, kind of this persona of how the people are there, and every person I came into contact with and created a relationship with was nothing but amazing and so extremely helpful and pleasant. But yeah, with what's going on there right now, just turning on the news and seeing what those people are having to deal with, it's upsetting and heartbreaking because there's a piece of me that, I'm attached to New York, and, I still know people that live there from my 2 internships, and I really hate what they're going through.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hutch.
Hey, Sydney. You were talking about the internships you had. Is that something do you have something already lined up job-wise and entering the workforce for this summer, or are you having to put that on hold, or is that something you're having to weigh into the decision of whether or not you're going to come back to play again next year?
If things were still standing where we were playing in our season and I was to, finish that last game in June, yes, I've been applying for jobs. I have a handful of opportunities, but, right now with everything that has transpired, that's, it's in a halt. I, have put that on hold, and, not even on my end of it, from the job market and the people that I, were interviewing with and have been in contact with. I don't know where they are headed and how, all of this is going to affect they as companies and businesses. So, right now, everything for me is at a halt. And I'm just going to move forward. And again, I'm super excited to get feedback from Coach Deifel and Hunter Yurchuk because they are such extremely incredible leaders, and they always do what's best for their student athletes. So again, I'm really excited to see what transpires with the NCAA's decision, and especially being a senior.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bob?
Hey, how you guys doing today? Appreciate you being on. Braxton, kind of follow up to what Nate asked you. You redshirted, you wait a whole year to play, and I looked it up. I think you're batting about 392 or something, so you obviously were off to a good start. How tough is that when you wait a whole year to play, and then you're just kind of getting in the groove of the season, and then it gets canceled like that? How tough is that?
Yeah, it's pretty devastating, to be honest. It's like, last year I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and, doing my part, being patient, trying to better my game. And then this year finally comes, and I was so excited to get out there. I was telling, people before season started, I was like, I feel like a 10-year-old girl again, just so excited that season's finally here and ready to get out there and play after sitting out a year, and to have it just taken away so fast was like
oh my gosh, what is happening, you know? It's just, I don't know. I think it's just, it's sad because all the work that goes into it. I am very competitive, and not being able to play the sport I love is just very devastating. And I don't know. I guess just putting it into perspective, I know that there's a bigger plan, and you know, God has a plan. And so I'm just trying to stay patient, just like I was last year, knowing that the time will come. You know, next year's going to roll around before I know it, and just sticking with my game and, you know, trying not to get too frustrated with it because, you know, that's not going to do anything for me. So just staying patient and doing the work right now while I can. And, you know, hopefully next year everything's gonna work out for the best and season will come around. And, you know, I guess the anticipation just keeps going, you know, fulfilling over until next year, and I will be just excited, you know, next year to start playing as I was this year.
And then, what did you get your undergrad degree in, and when did you complete that, and where do you stand with your master's?
Yeah, so my undergrad was in communications. I started that at Missouri, and then when I transferred over here, I would say probably 90% of my classes transferred. So I was able to graduate early. I graduated this past December. And so this will be my first semester working on my master's, and I'm getting my master's in human resources and workforce development. And that is a 2-year program. So I'm continuing to do that, and it's going really well, actually. I was a little bit nervous to be working on my master's, you know, the first semester and playing softball, but it's been going really great. That's, you know, kind of a field I'm really interested in. And yeah, so it's going good.
Okay, and then a question for Sydney: what do you think Braxton's added to the team? How does she fit in? And like I say, she's hitting 390, so I assume you guys like having her around.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course. Whenever I got the news, because believe it or not, Braxton and I had played summer ball together. When we were in high school for a summer, and, you know, just knowing about Braxton throughout the years, we actually played against each other when we were super little too, and, you know, travel softball around the state. But, yeah, when I got the news about Braxton transferring, I was over the moon that she was getting to join the program and to, you know, be my teammate. The things that she does on the field, in her presence and the way that she carries herself and she plays the game, she just gets the job done, and she does it extremely well. And then even, you know, on the field as a leader and off the field as a person, she is just, you know, a joy to be around. And, you know, we all look up to her so much, and she just has had a huge impact on my life, as she has the coaching staff and all of the girls on the team. It's been a great 2 years with her. You know, the first year redshirting, I do not think anyone has handled it like she has. She would get in practice and push everyone to be better and to get better. And, you know, then this year she just was such a dominant force on the field. And I just love Braxton. So she's been great.
And as far as your academics, are you on schedule to graduate in May or next the summer, or what's your track on that, I guess?
No, I have been on schedule my entire 4 years. I will be graduating this May and getting my undergraduate degree.
And so if you decide to come back, I guess, would you go for a master's, or would you just kind of take enough classes to be eligible, or what do you think you'd do with that?
Right now, I am in the works of communicating with my academic advisor on what are the options, because I'm a person who likes to have options. And so I'm in the process of that right now, trying to understand what I can take and what I can be going to school for, because I am big into academics. I, you know, fully put academics in the top of my priorities along with softball. And it's been important to me for my 4 years to maintain a high GPA and do the best that I can in the classroom. So when if I do come back and get extra schooling, I want to make sure that it's something that I can use, you know, once I move on from school and softball.
And you mentioned, you know, what's going on in New York, especially heartbreaking since you live there. When you were there, like, did you live in, New Jersey, or did you have roommates in Manhattan, or what part of New York did you live in?
The first summer that I interned at the Major League Baseball Network, the network is actually in Secaucus, New Jersey. I lived right on the river, right across from the Statue of Liberty. It was a beautiful location. I lived by myself in high-rise apartments that I was fortunate enough that, I was put in. And then by my mom. And then with the Mets, I actually lived in Queens. And it was a new and different experience. But I'm so glad that I lived in an area like that, because I was able to, just be around different cultures and different people and interact with, people that I usually don't interact with. And it was a great experience.
Have you been staying in touch with any of your acquaintances or friends in New York? And do you know anybody maybe that's been having to deal with the virus? I guess everybody's dealing with it, but I mean, do you know anybody that's been directly affected by it?
So I do stay in contact with the people that I interned with and that I worked for. I haven't had any direct contact, but Donovan Mitchell, who plays for the Utah Jazz, I worked for his dad at the Mets. His name is Donovan, and I worked for his dad. And so, Donovan Mitchell, he, tested positive for the virus. But no, I haven't contacted his dad about it. I'm sure they're having to deal with a lot as a family.
Yeah. And then, I don't hope this isn't too off the wall question. For both of y'all, what do you think of the job the grounds crew does at the softball field, keeping it in good shape for you guys? What the playing surface there?
I'll go first.
Do you want to go first, Braxton, and then I can bounce off of you?
Okay. Our grounds crew is amazing. I think that's something that some people might take for granted, but I do not take a second of that for granted, because I have played on some surfaces that are not that great, and it's not fun on the infield when the surface is not great, and you get a screaming ground ball hit at you, and you feel like your face is going to get taken off. So I love Austin and the grounds crew. They're great. They put a lot of time and effort in our field to make it look so great. The infield is always a great surface. I can't speak as much for the outfield. Sid Parr can do that, because I'm not out there very often. But
it's amazing.
The infield, I know it always looks great. The grass is so green. It's so pretty. But yeah, the infield's great, and I'm very, very, very thankful for all the work that they do. I never take that for granted, because that's a large part, of our field and the game that's being played. So yeah, they're absolutely great.
And just to bounce off of what Braxton said, I agree 100%. And Austin is just such a huge part of our program. Like Braxton said, field crew people, they could probably be taken for granted other places, but we do not take Austin for granted. He is such a huge part, again, of our program, as he does his job, but also just as a person. He's so extremely passionate about what he does and about we girls and our team. He is an integral part of what we do, and just getting to interact with him. He's here from like sun up to sundown. He works so extremely hard and is passionate, again, about what he does. And he has been impactful on all of our lives as well, just like a coach or someone on the staff or a player would be. So we're really fortunate to have Austin.
I guess they're keeping, whether it's baseball, softball, they keep the field in good shape year round. I mean, like, I assume there's somebody out there, during this time making sure it's taken care of. Do you appreciate the fact that they're out there even though no games are going on? Like, maybe Sydney, you could take that.
Yes, very much so. Austin always does a great job of keeping us up to date. And I mean, even when we're not there over Christmas break or Thanksgiving break and we're not playing games, he's out there, grinding on the field to, make the surface great on the infield, make the outfield great. And he just, right now, I'm sure he's still out there, which he is, putting a lot of work out on that field. So whenever we're ready to go this fall, it's in good shape. And that just means a lot. It's like anything else in life, just taking pride in what you do. It goes a long way. And he does that. And, we are all just so grateful that, he does what he does and he's great at his job and is a part of our lives.
Okay, thanks. And, well, you guys are so optimistic. It makes me feel better just listening to you. So thanks.
Tom? Tom, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was unmuting my mic. Hey, this question's for Braxton. And by the way, appreciate you guys coming on with us for a few minutes. Braxton, assuming you were in Paragould, what was the tornado situation like for you the other day? Did you guys have to shelter? And do you have any personal, accounts of things that happened with that?
Yeah, it was a little too close for comfort. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably the most scared I've ever been in a tornado situation. We were actually at a friend's house and wound up having to go to my boyfriend's grandma's house, and it was pretty scary because it was heading our way, and it's probably Jonesboro's no more than 15 minutes from where I'm from, and it absolutely destroyed Jonesboro, and so it was pretty scary. There are actually debris everywhere at my house in Paragould. There's debris all over Paragould, and it probably was a good 10 miles from my house, and to think that debris was taken all the way to my house, I think just kind of accounts for how strong it was. And going off of what I said earlier, we do a daily gratitude, that we kind of send in our group. And that was, my thankful for. I'm just thankful for my house and the roof over my head, because not everyone was as thankful. Was as blessed as I was, because their house, has been torn down and they're left with nothing. And, to think that we're going through this time with the coronavirus spreading as rapid as it is, it's just like bad went to worse, really fast. And so I think just kind of puts into perspective how we take some things for granted. And that tornado, because it could have easily destroyed Paragould, where I'm from, my house. Thankfully, nobody was hurt too bad, and thankfully no lives were taken. But I think it just puts into perspective, how fast things can go from bad to worse and how fast things can change. So my house is fine. My friends, my family, our houses are fine in Paragould, but those in Jonesboro, we're not as lucky. So it hit pretty close to home and a pretty scary time.
Okay, and then briefly for both of you guys, please. You guys had won your conference opener at Bama, and I'm just wondering what you thought the projection, the season would project to for you guys. Where were you guys headed? Would you start with that, Sydney, please?
Yeah, we started talking about it back in the fall, and just hit on something really quickly. Softball, and as it is for other spring sports, we grind in the fall. It is, team practices, individuals, obviously under the time restrictions with workouts. But we had been saying it from the fall that this team was so incredibly special. Out of my 4 years, this team this year was so united. We, just really, really strive to do, our very best for the state and for the program and for each other. We were really excited to see where we would end up, throughout the season, and especially at the end. Just offensively, defensively, the pitching staff, just all of the tools that we had. And, there's that question mark that, what could a 2020 season where, we don't know. There's a question mark to it because, it abruptly ended. But I do know that we would have gone a very long way, and we would have been very successful as a program. And I strongly feel that way.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that we were going in a very, very positive direction. This team was, I would say, our identity. We found our identity probably in the second tournament that we held at home in February. and we were just a group of fighters. And I think, you know, that was seen in that 1-0 win that we had at Bama. That's very tough to do. Go to Bama and win it all, but, you know, especially, you know, the first win of the conference season and first win of the series. And I think we were just so excited to show, you know, what fight we had in us. And like Sid said, this was a very special group. We had a lot of talent on this team. And, you know, to see it cut short is just very sad. It's sad for anyone, but, you know, to think about all the hard work that we have put in since August, you know, all the time that we've put into creating our identity and then finally finding our identity and then, you know, going on to win that first game at Bama and just starting conference season and really just starting to showcase what we had in us. And then for the season to come to an end, you know, it was very sad. And like Sid said, there will always be that question mark. But, you know, just knowing that we were fighting in a positive direction and this next year will be nothing but, you know, feeding off of that. We're just going to continue to rise and get better and better and show the kind of fight and the talent that we have while representing the state of Arkansas.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Let's see here. Mike McKinney, do you have any questions for Braxton? All right, let's just open it up.
Unmuted.
Let me get everybody unmuted here, and we will see who has questions left. All right, any more questions for Braxton or Sydney? All right, I think we're good. Sydney and Braxton, thank you very, very much for